Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to the Teofimo Lopez versus Steve Claggett live post-fight show here at FightersRep. I'm the FightersRep Fez, joined by my absolutely esteemed colleague, Gary Ignat Behavior. Gary, what a wonderful thing to have you with me on these post-fights. We're going to be doing these going forward, and the crazy thing right now is this UFC main event's happening, so you're going to see me looking off to the side, and I know we're going to see you looking off to the side a lot going forward. It's Yuri Prochazka and Alex Pereira. They look like they're about to kill each other, but let's get into this Teofimo versus Steve Claggett fight, Gary, because this was kind of a strange fight. You know what I mean? What were your thoughts on the fight? Well, actually, what were your thoughts going into the fight? Because I've never even really heard about Claggett too much, and I like to think I'm a pretty big boxing head.
You know, I try to, before a certain, I don't know every fighter. We don't know every fighter, so certain things I try to look at and see who the guy is. And to me, this is just supposed to be a showcase for Tio, because the last fight he got a lot of criticism on.
Yeah.
And this is just a guy he had 7 losses already. He doesn't really have a lot of power. Now, it can mislead you with how many knockouts he got. He got a lot of TKOs because he's basically a death by 1,000 punches. You know what I'm saying? Pressure fighter or whatever. But Tio's more athletic than him. He's flat-footed. He doesn't have serious power to really hurt Tio like that, in my opinion. And it was just supposed to be, all right, the last fight I had, the guy was moving around a lot. It got a lot of criticism. So this fight, I'm giving you a guy who's not going to move, a guy who's going to come forward, going to be easy to hit, and maybe I can get a KO. And that's basically what it was. What you thought?
You know, I didn't know much about Claggett. You know, I kind of found out a little bit, like you said. You know, we do a little bit of research before we get into this stuff. You know, I saw he's kind of mid-30s guy, a hard worker, and he fought like it, right? Fought like a hard worker, a guy who's kind of earned his way here, and it was his first ever title shot in his career. Like you said, he's got a bunch of losses already. His record in total, I want to read it to you guys. Just so, you know, we're clear and you guys understand what we're working with here. He's 35. His record was 38-6-2. So this was his 7th loss. And
6. I thought it was 7.
And Gary, you know, I agree with you, man. It was like death by 1,000 punches. I mean, it was interesting because with the pace he was putting on Tio, like in the first half of the fight, I was interested. I was like, okay, like Tio's still landing the bigger, sharper blows, and that's what counts, right? And that's why Tio's winning these rounds. But this guy's in his face. He's got Tio looking kind of uncomfortable. And I thought to myself, if Tio gasses out, this could be real trouble for him. But I want to say what impressed me about both of them was their gas tank, man. I mean, these guys in the 12th round, Gary, I mean, they looked the same like they did in the first round. And I mean, they looked exactly the same. And I got to give credit, if I'm being honest, more credit to Tio, because even though Claggett kept that crazy pace throughout the fight, Teofimo Lopez, you know, Gary, we always think of these explosive, athletic, muscular guys as guys who, you know, kind of blow their load in a couple combinations. Right. No Diddy. But, you know, blow their load in a couple big exchanges. And Tio didn't do that. You know, Tio was able to maintain his power, his explosiveness throughout the entirety of this fight, Gary. And I was really surprised, you know, especially I think it was the 8th round. He really started to open up in the 8th round, and he was landing big shots on Claggett, man. And I thought to myself, he might get him out of there. He might be able to get him out of there, but he didn't. And I'll say, Gary, that's also, I'm impressed with Tio and Claggett, but I'm also disappointed in Tio. Bro, you got to close the show at this point, bro. What's going on? You know what I mean? Kind of tell me, your thoughts on that, because I felt like, now this is 4 fights in a row or 5 fights in a row. Let's see. Sandor Martin,
Jermaine,
Josh Taylor, Jermaine
Josh Taylor,
Ortiz, and Claggett.
yeah.
That's 4 fights in a row where we don't get a finish from Teofimo Lopez, who was kind of a knockout artist and an explosive fighter. And I don't know what's going on here, Gear.
So I just seen a knockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like Pereira dropped Prochazka.
But anyway, I heard everything you said. And man, and this is the thing that people have been saying, and I don't know if it's true, because I'm not gonna lie. Claggett, if you look at him, he only been knocked out one time.
Yeah.
The dude has a tough chin. And so is it Teofimo's power hasn't translated to the 140 division? Because Jermaine Ortiz, he fought Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz.
That was a terrible fight.
Yeah, it was a terrible fight. But Jermaine Ortiz didn't really give him a chance. So I'm not gonna blame all that on Teo not finishing him.
But they were talking about it before the broadcast too, though. He wasn't really cutting the ring off. He was following him around.
Yeah, but see, when I understand when people say cut the ring off and everything, but these are Jermaine Ortiz ain't he's not an elite fighter, but he's not a shitty fighter either. So it's hard to cut off when a guy doesn't, because a lot of times when you cutting off a ring, when you're cutting off the ring and everything, you're waiting for the guy to throw a punch and then you can kind of jump on him, get inside and push him back or whatever you want to do. When he's not throwing punches, he's just moving constantly. And he's moving off the line constantly, like Teo said, and he's not really trying to engage. By
the way, Pereira just obliterated Prochazka.
I missed it.
Knocked him out.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's that. Knuckleheads for that fight. But go ahead.
We can focus now. We can focus.
We can focus. Right. We can focus.
I turned my face. I missed it. All right. Well, anyway, no, I mean he what you call it? When a guy's moving like Jermaine was doing, it's kind of hard, and they're not really throwing a lot of punches. They're not stopping to throw punches or anything. They're just moving. Yeah. We've seen it happen with Canelo. We've seen it happen with Boots. So I don't blame him for that one. Josh Taylor. Now, Josh Taylor is a very good fighter.
Yeah.
But he didn't get him out of there. And then I forgot who was it before Josh Taylor.
Sandor Martin.
Oh, Sandor. He even got dropped. He even got dropped by Sandor Martin.
Yeah, that was a split decision win. Sandor Martin gave Teo a real run. He gave him a real run.
At 140, he hasn't knocked out anybody. So it's like, is his power not there like it is at 135? And he didn't, and we can even go back to 135. He didn't knock out Lomachenko either. He didn't knock out Kambosa. So it's been more than 4 fights.
Well, I mean, Pedro Campa, he got a TKO to win the light welterweight title. So
so you mentioned that.
That was back in 2022. Split decision loss before that to Kambosis. Lomachenko unanimous decision before that. And before that, it was Richard Comey. So, I mean, 2019 was second to last TKO, and the last one was against Pedro Campa in 2022. It's been almost 2 years since Teofimo's stopped anyone. And, I love the guy. I think he's great. I think he's super entertaining, but I almost feel like, Gary, it's a bit of a curse with these amazing big showmanship entrances of his, because he came out to Michael Jackson's Beat It, and I was loving it. You know what I mean? He was dancing it out, beat it. And I'm thinking he's going to come out there and put on a lifetime performance for the fans down here in Miami, which me and you should have been there since we're down here in Miami, right? We should have been at this fight. Yeah. And he did the same thing for Jermaine Ortiz, this big, huge uproar of a show for the entrance. And then he comes out and he kind of gives us, a bullshit sandwich, if you will, a nothing sandwich. I'm
not gonna say a bullshit sandwich because
I'm just being an asshole. It's late.
He did have action. He did land some big shots and everything.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna fight a guy like this to make
Right.
yourself look good, you got to knock him out.
Yeah.
You got to knock him out. You got to knock him out because that's what he's there for. He's there to be knocked out and to make you look good. And if you beat up on him but you don't knock him out, it just puts more questions for everybody. Yeah. Hey, I mean, he won every round. I mean, this guy wasn't an elite level guy. And people like to say, oh, he's fighting plumbers and this, that, and all that. Other people, well, we got to start calling Tio out on this shit. You know what I'm saying? His two biggest fights is what? You got his two biggest fights is Josh Taylor and you got Lomachenko. Biggest fights right there. Can you compare that to who Tank has been fighting? Can you compare that to who Devin Haney has fought? I mean, it's a little bit closer with Devin Haney, but can you compare? Even Ryan has been fighting the guys. I mean, Rolly fought Tank. He fought Pitbull. He fought
the Barroso. Who's
Moroso. He kind of almost lost that one, but
probably should have.
But I'm just saying, I don't want to see you in here with this guy that you're gonna just walk through all night long. It reminds me of the Devin Haney with Regis, even though I think Regis is better than this guy. I would have been cool if he fought Regis.
That'd be an interesting fight. Yeah, that'd be an interesting
because Regis has power that can hurt him.
Yeah. By the way, big shout out to Paul Abul Saad for joining the channel. Really appreciate you. Obviously that's the way you guys can support us and not only building the channel, but building Fighters Rep Promotions. We are a full-fledged kickboxing promotion here, creating opportunities for fighters and building up fighters on both coasts. Don't forget Fighters Rep tickets go on sale July 3rd for Fighters Rep 25 in Los Angeles at the beautiful Commerce Casino. That goes down September 7th. And Fighters Rep 26 at the beautiful Arion Event Center in Pompano Beach, Florida. That goes down September 21st. Again, tickets go on sale July 3rd. And Paul, thank you so much for joining. Guys, feel free to join and drop a super chat, super thanks. It all gets reinvested back into the promotion to try to help build these young fighters. I lost my train of thought now, Gary. Sorry about that.
No, I would have been okay if he fought Regis. I would have been okay if he fought Regis. Regis was available, obviously. I don't know. Maybe they tried to reach out to Regis or whatever. That would have been a good to see because at least Regis has a punching chance.
And he's got a name. And he's got more of a name. You know what I mean? I do think, but you come to Miami, right? It's supposed to be a showcase. Man, you want to get the knockout. I think they kind of dropped the ball on this one, putting him in against a guy with 47 fights that's only been knocked out one time, a real veteran, a kind of guy that's going to make you look bad, no matter what happens. I mean, that guy, he's pesky. I mean, that was the word that came to mind when I was watching this fight. This dude is pesky. This dude's like this the whole time. Just, when a bug flies into the window over and over and over again. That's what Claggett was like to me. And I don't think it was a good showcase fight, Gary. Not at all, man.
No, I don't think it was going to be what they thought it was going to be. Even though he was dominant, it's the same thing I felt about Devin Haney and Regis. And the only reason because Devin Haney was so much bigger than Regis.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was a good fight for Devin Haney for Regis because he didn't end the show either because he was so dominant over Regis. But for Tio, he's not as long and he's more engaging than Devin Haney, so it'd have been a better fight. But when I remember after Devin Haney beat Regis, I said I don't think he can beat Tank. Tank finishes these guys.
Yeah,
I don't think he can beat Tank. And for a long time I said I got Devin. But after he lost to Regis, I said nah, I got Tank. I got Tank now. And then he went on to lose.
Who lost to Regis?
Devin.
Devin lost to Regis? Devin didn't lose to Regis.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean lose, but after Devin fought Regis. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. After Devin fought Regis and won, after that, remember I came on and I said I didn't think that Devin would beat Tank because Tank would finish that. That's not going 12 rounds.
Yeah.
And the same thing I feel with T.O. This is what separates Tank
I agree.
and,
I agree.
and from a lot of these fighters.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
going, he's going to
And you
decipher,
say a
get you out of
lot.
there.
And you say a lot. It's what separates Tank from all of these guys at junior welterweight or
Well, I still got
lightweight
Shakur.
or
I still got Shakur, but
over Tank.
yeah.
That's a gutsy call, my friend. That's a gutsy call.
I mean, that's the top two, in my opinion. Tank
I don't know, man. I
and
feel like
Shakur.
Shakur. I mean, if I'm being honest, right? I think Shakur is the goods too, right? I love technique. I'm all about technique. You know, me and you are hardcore boxing fans. We like technique, you know. But I after watching his last fight and watching the way Tank's fighting and who they
It's
fought
getting better.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Shakur survives. I mean, for me, I don't know if Shakur even survives that fight.
I
If
think
I'm being
Shakur.
honest.
I mean, here's my thing is T.O. after this performance, after showing all these
Yeah.
performances, I think he can stop T.O. I think Tank can stop T.O. I think Tank can, I think well, we already seen him beat up Ryan.
I don't think I'll put it this way. After tonight's fight, I don't think T.O. is the explosive knockout artist that Tank is. I just don't.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
He's
And
not
I don't
anymore.
I think T.O. gets caught. Because let's be honest, I mean, right now you had a guy who was flat-footed, wasn't much of a puncher, and he was backing you into the corner, backing you
Yeah.
against the ropes, and you were moving around against this guy. You weren't standing stationary to really get this guy out of there. You were moving a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you felt his power or whatever. It doesn't seem like the guy has a ton of power.
Right.
He's just a really active guy. That guy right there is not walking Tank down. No way, no how. Tank is walking that guy down.
And if he is, Tank is walking him into a slumber
Uppercut.
party. A slumber party. By the way, I love that you bring up uppercut. I felt like uppercut was kind of the theme of the night. I'm not sure if you were able to catch any of the undercard fights or
I
if you
seen.
were able, because I felt like T.O. probably could have ended this fight with an uppercut. But
I got a thought on that. T.O. He found the uppercut early in like the third, I don't want to say third or fourth round. He found it. Boom. He got it. But then he went away from it. And I heard announcers saying he's not going to. It's there, boo, the high guard. He can't see all that. But I think Tank went to the Ryan Garcia what's his name? The coach for Ryan. That just went to Ryan from Derek James told him, look, if you want to land the left hook, stop throwing it. Get him busy with something else, and then you can land it again. Right. So I think T.O. started throwing other things to kind of lull him to sleep so I can throw it and get a good one in there. Because honestly, T.O. was landing some hard shots, but they weren't fully clean shots a lot of times. You know what I mean? Yeah. They were like hitting some of the arm, taking some of the steam off a little bit.
Claggett was very defensively responsible. He was very much like always guarded. But I still think if T.O. would have opened up, he could have gotten him out of there, maybe with a combo of hooks and uppercuts. He was landing a lot when he let his hands go. He just didn't do enough. I wanted to ask you though, did you see Robesi Ramirez's uppercut earlier in the night?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
That was brutal.
But he was dominating that fight too, though.
Yeah.
That was another fight that was kind of dominant. Hey, did you see Ali pop the bone?
Yeah.
In the sixth round? Oh man. Oh. But I'll just
Hey, shout out to him though for fighting through it and picking up the win. I mean, I
don't know how he didn't tell that his shoulder. You can see the bone. Throw that.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did. I don't know,
bro. But he fought through it. So big up to him. But I want to ask you. Tank, I guess, still campaigning at lightweight. I mean, that's his division. They're talking about him and Lomachenko next. I can't wait for that fight. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, Gary. That's going to be a fun fight to cover. But junior welterweight, man, right now the champions. I mean, obviously Teofimo just defended his WBO title. You've got Pitbull Cruz in the WBA. Tell me what you think about these matchups. The WBC, I guess, is vacant. They got Barroso as WBA interim, Devin Haney as, I guess, champ in recess for the WBC. That's why it's vacant. And then Liam Paro in the IBF. I'm not sure if you watched this fight against Subriel Matias, but he went to Puerto Rico. And Gary, I think I told you, I definitely told Coach Derek, I said this Liam Paro kid, man, he's a tough kid. And I hope they're not taking him lightly because he'll go down there to Puerto Rico and piss some people off. And he did. This Australian guy, he's a tough guy. I actually think he gives Tank, or not Tank, I think he gives Teo a real run for his money.
I was going to say, he needs to, that needs to be something. I don't think it will happen because I think Teo, over the years, from what I've been seeing, is for Teo to take a risk in these last years, he wants a big payout because I know you've had other people out there at the 140-pound. You had that he could have made a fight. He could have made a fight with Devin Haney, with Rolly, and he doesn't want it unless it's bringing certain money. He's been bringing up Bud, that he wants to fight Bud. I have no freaking idea why he wants to do that. Because after this performance, I think Bud destroys him.
Yeah, bro, listen. Much respect to Teo, man. You're cool, man. You're a great fighter, but Bud Crawford is not that guy, bro. Don't play that game, bro.
That guy ain't lasting 12 rounds with Bud.
Listen, I'm not sure Canelo beats Bud Crawford, bro. I'm gonna leave it at that. So you better stop playing that game.
Yeah. But I mean, I get it. It's money. You want to be great. And I'm not dissing Teo because I'm a fan of all these guys. I believe all these guys are talented, but I just got to call it how I see it. And that was supposed to be
realistic. We got to be realistic here, folks.
And I just don't see him on Bud's level. I don't see him beating Tank.
I would love to see that fight, though, because
I would love to see him and Devin.
Yeah, because
I think that's a great fight. I would love to see him and Ryan, him and Pitbull, because Pitbull, he gonna have to do better than that against Pitbull.
No, you're absolutely right. Against Pitbull, you better be on your shit against Pitbull.
Yeah,
I think Teo is a really good fighter, man. I think if he puts it all together, if he's running on all cylinders, he could beat anyone. But it's just lately he just hasn't been looking as good as I remembered. And man, between this performance here, which I thought was okay, and Jermaine Ortiz, which I thought was horrible, I think I want to say it's going to harm a little bit his market value, right? Because
I agree.
These were not Gary, this was boring to watch.
Boring.
And I was kind of waiting, hoping that somebody would break down at the end of this fight, and it didn't happen.
And what this is like? This is like
paint drying.
Huh?
I said no. Paint this drying. No, I'm just kidding.
This is like a guy humping away on a woman for hours and hours, and you're thinking, and the woman's laying there, and she's like, "Well, eventually, maybe I could get something out of this."
Oh gosh!
And then it never happens, and then she just wasted 30 minutes. Yeah, he went long, but she didn't get nothing out of it, and that's what we were waiting for. We were waiting for a climax, like, okay, this fight, we clearly see who is better. We clearly see it. We see, okay, he's pounding away at this guy. Okay, let's give us the climax, the knockout. And it never came. And it was like, I just wasted my time because I already knew who was better. I just wanted to see a devastating knockout or something. I wanted to see a guy hanging out the ropes, because if you're going to fight a guy that had 6 losses, now 7, and nobody really knows, at least knock him through the ropes. That's what we want to see. Let's keep it real. You're going to fight a no-name, destroy the guy. You fight a no-name, and we just watch y'all just go back and forth. You land some shots on them. It's not entertaining. You dominated. It's not competitive. It's not anything. It's not. I don't even. At no point in time did I think the guy had T.O. in trouble.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
just, you
I
know,
think I think the matchmaker expected T.O. to come to Miami, walk out to Michael Jackson's Beat It, right?
and beat it.
And beat it until the climax came, like you said. The climax never came, pun intended, like you said. And it just is again. I'm a little bit concerned about the market value of Teofimo Lopez kind of dropping a little bit after this fight. I would expect. I think the matchmaker thought he was going to knock this guy out. I think he figured he's 35 years old. He's already lost 7 times. But they should have checked maybe the amount of knockouts that this guy has suffered and how durable he was. Because the guy was durable, man. You got to give him that. The guy was durable.
Nah, he was. He was. And I'll give him. He kept. It ain't like he stopped coming forward. Now his punch output slowed down a little bit, but he didn't stop coming forward.
Yeah.
And I was like you. I was like, oh, maybe this fight may get exciting in the second half because T.O. might gas out. We seen him gas out against Lomachenko. Yeah. We seen him wear down in some fights. So I'm like, maybe, but it's just like it never happened. And we're tired of seeing him fighting these type of fighters, these name of fighters. Even though Josh Taylor is a good fighter, he's not a big name. That's not who the fans want to see him fight.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think in his prime it would have been, but he was already past it by that time.
He still wasn't a big name. He's a big name to boxing people who are I'm talking about to the casual. To the casual fans.
Josh Taylor was the man he unified the division. That guy was the man in his prime, bro.
I'm not saying whether you're the man or not. I'm asking you, do casual fans, because that's who bring in the money, do they know who Josh Taylor is?
Well, let me ask you. So what do you think is the next fight for T.O., after this performance? I mean, what's the next fight for T.O.? I mean, he can't go backwards, right? I mean, he's got to continue to go forward. I mean, what's the next fight?
I mean, you got Matias out there. He just lost. He wants to get a belt back. He wants to get his. You got what's his name, Paro. I don't know a whole lot about him.
I don't think they'd give it to Matias. I mean, I doubt you're going to come off a loss and get a title shot at T.O. You know what I mean? What I do think.
Why not? Why not?
What I think would make a lot of sense is a rematch with Sandor Martin, who was supposed to fight Devin Haney before Devin Haney decided to go into recess. I think Sandor Martin is good because they already have a fight before and it was split decision.
You know what? I already fought you. It was a split decision. It was close. You dropped me. Why would I go do that again? Matias is a bigger name than Sandor Martin. Can we agree with that?
Probably, yeah.
He lost, but still one loss. Well, no. Didn't he? Yeah, he has one loss, right? Or
yeah. Who,
so
Matias?
Yeah.
No, he's got 2 now. That was his
two. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the other one. Who did he lose against?
It was some Armenian. I think it's some Armenian guy. I gotta look him up.
Yeah. So he has a loss, but he still has a big following. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's still a credible opponent. He only has 2 losses. He has knockout power. So you know that Regis. If you don't want somebody as dangerous as Matias, you go Regis. Regis is still dangerous, not as much as Matias, but he's still dangerous.
And a big name, and I think there would be some beef there, and I like that. I think Matias too. There's some beef there. They've been talking a little bit of shit back and forth to each other. By the way, Matias lost to Petros Ananian back in February of 2020 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena.
I knew. That's why I was thinking. I stopped myself. I was like, I know he lost before, didn't he? I couldn't remember to who. Yeah. I didn't see that fight, but
I think I agree with you. I think we got to find him a big name fight. I'm sure Top Rank's going to try to find him one that he could win. I think a Regis program makes a lot of sense, actually. Because Regis coming off that loss, a lot of people probably are writing him off at this point. He got dropped by Devin. So, maybe, at the very least, I think it'll be an exciting fight because Regis kind of comes forward, and
you got to give him somebody who has the potential to hurt him. This guy right here, he didn't have the potential to hurt T.O. at all.
Right.
and it was just tailor made for him. He can't hurt you. He's
Yeah.
not more athletic than you. He's old. He's already had multiple losses.
Yeah.
Only thing he can give you is that he can be a punching bag for you. That's
Yeah.
all he can do for you.
Yeah. 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 I mean, imagine if the guy Claggett, though. Imagine if that guy had power.
If he had power, then that would have made it a more exciting fight.
That guy would be an alien, dude. That guy did not stop coming, man.
But that's like Pitbull. That's why I said Pit. Oh, I forgot about Pitbull. Pitbull will be it's a dangerous fight. It's a very dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because he comes and he got power. He'll put your lights out, you slip up. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good fight too. I
Yeah,
mean, even if he wanted to fight Rolly. I mean, I know Rolly's coming off the embarrassing loss. He has 2 losses, but he came off of that. But just to show it's a name, you know what I mean? And it's danger because Rolly has power. So you want to see a fight where you think the guy can actually, that's what's going to bring us to watch, is to see if the guy can actually catch Tio with something to get him in trouble.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I expected more from Teofimo Lopez, if I'm being honest. It's a little
knockout.
Yeah. I think kind of like the way you felt about Haney against Prograis is how I'm feeling. It's kind of how I'm feeling about Tio tonight against Claggett. You know, it's like, come on, bro. Just like you're in Miami, bro. Like, just go crazy. You know what I mean? Let it out. You know, just like leave it all out there. Give the fans a show. Give them a knockout. But you know, it's just. And at times, I mean, he looked very uncomfortable in there. He looked very. So I was watching this, and I don't know, maybe you were thinking the same thing, but I was saying to myself, man, I think Tank would knock this guy out, bro. I was saying,
oh yeah,
both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Algieri kept talking as well about, you know, stop trying to match his volume, just like hurt him. You gotta hit him with power. And I was hoping he would do that, but he was hitting him harder than Claggett was hitting him, but it wasn't like deterring power. You know, he should have just hit him with some big stuff, gotten him out of there.
Well, see, here's my thing is that last fight he complained about Jermaine moving around a lot, moving. Come on, let's fight. He was telling him, let's fight, let's go at it.
Today. Can't do that tonight.
And so then tonight you were the one moving.
Right.
Do like this. Hey, he wants to come forward. I'm gonna put my guard up. Yeah. Let's go. Let's get in close. Let's infight. You can't hurt me. So if this is what you want to do, I'm not gonna let you back me into a corner, and I'm not gonna be moving like he was. Let's get in the middle of the ring and bang. I've seen fighters do it plenty of times. Like I'm not going nowhere. This is what you want to do. Let's do that. Let's bang.
So I'm saying,
and,
that's what I'm saying. There's like no excuse anymore. Like Jermaine Ortiz was moving around, and you weren't cutting off you weren't cutting off the ring, right?
Yeah.
Now this guy was trying to walk you down the entire fight.
Yeah.
And so what do you want? The perfect opponent to just sit there at the perfect distance? like come on.
I seen Tank with Mario Barrios.
It's like that lady you were talking about earlier today. You know, she wants the perfect circumstances. She's never satisfied.
Yeah, hey, that's what it is. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, you know, if he's trying to walk you down, Tank would have stood his ground with a guy that he knew he couldn't hurt him.
Or walked him into something. I think Tank would have walked that guy into a vicious
think about this.
knockout.
When Tank fought Mario Barrios, who was bigger than him, Mario Barrios was touching him up, but Tank stood. Tank didn't move around. Yeah. Tank didn't go around. Tank kept trading with him. Let's go. If this is what you want to do, and if you go to when he fought Cruz, Cruz touched him up a little bit.
Pitbull Cruz or Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz.
Okay, because you're giving me. You're
Pitbull,
talking about
he was moving.
Yeah,
he was moving.
Yeah. I'm having Santa Cruz flashbacks because Santa Cruz was having success in that fight. And remember, he pinned Tank up against the rope, right?
Yeah.
and then he ate, and then he threw the same goofy punch 3 times, and Tank downloaded it and threw the uppercut from Hill. And I think that
And he was.
I think that's
But
what
I'm
would have
saying,
happened to Claggett. I think that's what would have happened to Claggett tonight if he fought Tank. Tank would have
yeah.
walked him into
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
But I see. That's how Tank got the knockout. That's how Tank got the knockout. And all fight, even though he was getting touched, he still was moving forward. He wasn't moving around. Now, of course, when he knows a guy got power, he moves. Like he moved with Rolly and ran Rolly into something. He even moved a little bit with Ryan, even though he caught Ryan in the center of the ring when he dropped him, and he caught him with a body shot when he dropped him.
Yeah.
He didn't. Tank is I just think Tank is a level above what I saw from Tio, what I saw from Devin, what I've seen from everybody except for Shakur. Now I maybe Shakur shows me something.
But you keep hanging. You're clinging. It's pathetic. You're clinging on to Shakur like you're Sylvester Stallone and Cliffhanger.
I've always said Shakur beat Devin Haney too, though, and I thought he beat everybody.
But what's he shown us? What's he shown us compared to Tank? No way, bro. You can't tell me
he doesn't have the knockout power that Tank has, bro. But like obviously he doesn't have. But defensive wise, he gets the hit the least out of anybody. He can stand in the pocket and still not get hit and still deliver his counter punching.
His last fight was bullshit, though.
He hurt his, but okay, so he hurt his arm. What do you do when Tank hurt his arm against Pitbull? He didn't put him out.
Pitbull's a tough guy.
I'm just saying. And if I hurt my hand, I'm doing what I got to do to win.
I'm just saying, man. If you tell me right now, if they were to step in the ring right now, bro, I'm not. And I'm big. You know me. I'm big on technique and everything like that. I'm not picking Shakur over Tank right now, bro. Maybe if Shakur stays a little bit more active, gets some more fights, and I can see him a little bit more.
He's surgical, man.
Yeah, he can be as surgical as he wants, though, man. When Tank lands one big shot, that all goes out the window, bro.
Okay, but you don't know how his chin is.
And Tank is surgical too. He's gonna land, bro. He's gonna land.
Well, here's the thing: is Tank also relies on I'm gonna figure you out, and then I'm gonna find out how to land those punches. Because we just named fights that he was losing or were close. Well, Mario Barrios, Cruz, and you have Pitbull, who you think won. I don't think that, but that's what you think.
Tank. I thought he
that's what you think. And also,
I don't think he's the better fighter. I think if they fight again, Tank wins. But I thought he won that night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I'm saying, but you have fights where Tank was behind on the scorecards, and like Errol Spence said when he was going to fight Frank Martin, you can't rely on later in the fight, knocking a guy out like you normally do.
So
and I think Shakur is the highest level boxer he would ever fight.
So when Errol Spence says it, you're all over it. But when I said it at our last podcast, and I was trying to analogize it to Deontay Wilder, you don't want to hear it from me. But when your boy Errol Spence says it, then you believe it. I see how it is, Gary. I see what's going on here. By the way, Shakur Stevenson, right 2 hours ago on X, this is hilarious. He wrote, "Damn, I never even fought a dude with 7 losses in my entire career. That's crazy." Let's see. Cello Majid says, "What's up, Cello? Appreciate you being here, man." He says Shakur's going to run against Tank. Tank fought a dangerous pitbull with one hand while Shakur ran like a sprinter.
But he had one hand too, though. That's what I'm saying. He had one hand too. It's not like he had both his hands, and he had one hand. And so you got to do what you got to do to win sometimes.
Tank was still effective with one hand, bro. He was still effective,
Well, you thought he lost. So how effective was he?
I did think he lost. But
I think he lost. But
I think Pitbull Cruz is better than the guy.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Pitbull was better. I mean, but I'm just saying, Shakur, he's so. I mean, man, he's so hard to hit, and he's so technical. He countering. he has it all, man. And I'm not saying I'm 100% sure he beats Tank, but I'm just saying that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
By the way,
I'm going with.
Sayo, appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And guys, just so you know, we do this every Monday and now Thursdays as well. We cover boxing and we cover Fighters Rep, our own promotion, where we're bringing up some of the best young strikers in the world. Continue, Gary. Sorry about that, brother.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I mean, obviously, boxers, they stick and move, and Tank is a little bit in the middle. He's a boxer, but he's a puncher. He can box, but he's a puncher. So I get it. I'm not gonna say 100% Shakur beats him, but if I gotta pick somebody, I'm picking Shakur. I pick Shakur. Now if Tank goes in there and beats Shakur, you have to put him up there in the top, in my opinion. What, top 3 pound for pound? He has to be up there because Shakur is gonna be I think Shakur right now is probably the best boxer, like straight up boxer in boxing, in boxing period, no matter weight classes. I think I'm saying boxer, not the best fighter. I'm saying boxer. You have to give that the best fighter right now to Bud. Even though I like Boots against Bud, you have to give it to Bud right now.
I think Bud is a better boxer than Shakur right now.
You might be right, because Shakur even said that Bud is crazy, stupid good. But I'm saying because for me, I say fighter because I feel like Bud is more of a fighter than a boxer like Shakur. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have different things. I have brawlers, I have fighters, and I have boxers. Fighters are what Tank and Bud are. You know what I mean? Kind of in my mind. And I know it's gonna sound crazy saying you think he can beat him. Yeah. But I'm saying like a fighter is somebody, in my opinion, who can box, who can also brawl. They may not be the highest level boxer, but they're a very good boxer, but they can also mix it up and brawl. They might get hit more than a natural pure boxer would get hit. Yeah. Like Floyd in his early days, I believe, was a fighter. In his later days, he was a boxer. He wasn't trying to knock you out. He was content with just outpointing you and just moving around, out schooling you. If I can get the knockout, I do it. I can. Floyd in his earlier days, he was looking for the knockout. Bud is looking for the knockout, and he wants to knock out. It shows his last 10 fights he got knockouts. Yeah. Shakur is like, however I beat you is how I beat you. And he even said it on Twitter when he was like, I'm not playing to the fans. However I can win, I'm gonna win. He's not looking for it.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, I do think, again, Shakur, great boxer. I think it would be a great fight. I just hope we get to see all of these guys actually fight each other, But I don't know. It's looking tricky to get these guys together. But anyway, I'd like to see Teofimo fight Regis. Teofimo maybe fight Liam Paro. Teofimo fight Pitbull Cruz. It's time, maybe. But, if I'm if I'm guiding him after a fight like this, I mean, I probably – these guys, they want to get exciting wins, and especially after 2 wins like this that were kind of boring, you're going to want to get him a knockout win. You're going to want to put him in there with a guy he could finish in style, build up his confidence a bit more. Not that he lost confidence, but man, these fights have been boring. Build up his status a bit more, and then let him loose against and then maybe fight a Liam Paro or someone for another one of these titles, and try to unify a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, that's all I can say is I just feel like trying to go the easy route to fight a guy like this, to put on a good show. I know that's how promoters think, but what happens when you go the easy route and you don't get the finish that you wanted? Right. You know what I mean? You don't get what you wanted.
It's
tough. So
and it's a fair point. I think that we kind of came up with, where you're complaining about Jermaine Ortiz running. Okay, this guy was running away from you. This guy was running right at you the whole time. Yeah. You gotta do the business. But anyway, Gary, I mean, that's pretty much all we got, I think, for Teofimo Lopez versus Steve Claggett. Guys, if you haven't already, joined the channel to help us continue to build our channel, our network, and of course Fighters Rep, and help us continue to promote these young fighters at these amazing shows that we're doing. Tickets go on sale July 3rd for the next 2 Fighters Rep events. So be sure to join the channel, help us build that. Get your merchandise in the link below as well. That helps us build as well. And subscribe to the channel. Me and Gary are doing this every Monday and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're covering the major boxing bouts. You know, we're giving you content, you know, and I think it's been wildly entertaining lately. So appreciate you guys joining us. And Gary, thank you for your time, man. We're going to be doing this again on Monday, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean it's 1:30. I'm gonna go ahead and deliver a disappointing a disappointing night to my wife.
I hear you. I hear. Well, I hope mine is still up so I can try to deliver at least a disappointing night. Have a good one. Thank you guys.
Yeah, man, I'm all
Appreciate
at
it.
you.
All right, man.
Yeah.